Meantime, the Texas Historical Commission gave Nueces County Commissioners the financial numbers for the rehabbing of the historic 1914 courthouse. This is drone footage that you're going to see here in just a couple of minutes that was shot with our KIII TV drone. Sharon Fleming is the courthouse program director for the feasibility study. She told the commissioners that the old courthouse is not only an important landmark, but could be turned into a profitable high-end boutique hotel. But it would come at a high price.
Sugarcoating the costs here, we're estimating approximately a $68 million project.
It was noted that there are 7 federal and state financial incentives to support the project. County Judge Barbara Canales told commissioners that those programs would be covering about 50% of the costs of the courthouse makeover. Right now, the next step is to use grant dollars to hire an engineer with a historical preservation background. They would do another structural study of the courthouse.